Oh, they swore this was just a conspiracy. They told us we were crazy for saying Obama had his fingerprints on the Russia hoax. Well, not anymore, because Tulsi Gabbard just stood at the White House podium and named Barack Obama in a treason investigation. Let me say that again. The former president of the United States has been officially referred to the DOJ for possible prosecution. Wow. And now the same media that screamed no one is above the law is suddenly in panic. Same thing. This is bigger than Watergate. And I'm about to show you why.
Thank you, Tulsi. And we do want to take questions on this topic while the director has time for this topic. She will leave. I'm happy to take questions on other matters after that. But if anyone has questions for Director Gabbard, you're welcome to ask them. We'll start with our new media seat as always. Emily, go ahead.
Thank you. And Director Gabbard, this one is for you. Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Ed, go ahead.
Director Gabbard, thank you. So just two questions, but to begin on that. The president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple assessments that were created by the intelligence community, the expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people, our republic, and an attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
The Senate Intelligence Committee spent several years looking into this and unanimously agreed in a bipartisan fashion. Secretary.
Now, this ain't just Twitter talk. This was the director of national intelligence, y'all, confirming criminal evidence against Obama. She didn't speculate either. She didn't hint. She said it quite plainly. The evidence has been referred to the DOJ and FBI. And remember, Tulsi isn't just a talking head. She's the U.S. intelligence now, which means this referral carries institutional weight. And if you're wondering just how deep this goes, I want you to strap in.
It should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a three-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious, and every single one of them must be held accountable.
Yeah,
Exactly. Did you catch that? July 28th in the Oval Office. Yeah, you had Obama, Brennan, Comey, and all of them, we know, all in the same room discussing Hillary's plan to tie Trump to Russia using fake intel. We told y'all this is not coincidence. They didn't just push the lie. They conspired to weaponize the entire U.S. government to stop Trump. That's not politics. That's treason. Treason. But here's where it gets absolutely lethal, y'all. Boom. Direct orders. Declassified. Obama knew there was no evidence Putin back. I said Putin. My bad. Yeah, man. But there's no evidence that Putin ever had any, backing towards Trump. And he told the intelligence community to release the report anyway. And we were called conspiracy theorists, y'all. Meanwhile, Obama orchestrated it all from the shadows. So what happened next? The same Democrats who swore they were protecting democracy tried to cover it up with incompetence like this.
Let's back up and realize what happened. A historic adversary, Russia, trying to figure out how can I take away some of the strength of that place called the United States of America. Well, one of the strengths that they've got, and it's intangible almost, you can't really touch it, but it's strong. When they walk in the room, it's their strength, is that they are a democracy. Imperfect though we may be, right? Flawed though we may be, it's part of our strength. How can we nip at that? Well, one of the greatest pillars of a democracy, especially ours, free and open elections. We are very proud of the fact we've not had any revolutions in recent history. It is through a peaceful transition of power through elections. Our election system, imperfect and flawed though it may be. So they decide to go at that. Well, let's get the American people going at each other to create division and a lack of confidence in this process.
That's what you're doing.
And they test out a bunch of subjects. And interestingly enough, the subject that gained the most amount of heat was race. And they had people going at each other. This is all in the, you read the reports and you will see that this is what happened. So, but the fact is Russia interfered.
Thank gosh. That is over. That woman was a heartbeat away from the presidency? Talk about intangible strengths. And mumbling through the biggest intelligence scandal in decades. And this was their answer to Trump? This was their defense to democracy. These people weren't defending America. They were defending the law. And when the law started to crumble, the media obviously do what they do. Start panicking.
Yeah, but he's accusing a former president of treason.
Right.
And on top of that, saying, it may not be right, but I'm going to go after them anyway. What is he talking about? And what kind of country are we living in if that is actually what he is doing?
Well, first off, I thought the key part about President Obama's quote was that the Russians did not actually manipulate any votes.
Yeah, we knew that already.
No, wait a minute. In the immediate aftermath of the
that
2016
already.
election, you could hardly find a
Yeah,
Democrat
but
who was not screaming that Russia
it's
rigged the election.
It has been 8 years since
That's-
the immediate aftermath of the 2016
The fact that
election.
Obama is now undoing
Brad, as you know,
the Democrat mythology
As
of
you know,
2016
there have been
is pretty
multiple
notable.
reports. There have been there's been a major bipartisan Senate.
I hate how Abby always try to talk over somebody when they get ready to make a point that completely annihilates hers. Ugh.
There's been a major bipartisan Senate report that was led by Marco Rubio, who now works in Donald Trump's administration. We have known for many years that the Russians did not manipulate the votes, okay?
Right. In fact, they didn't even influence votes. They've had intentions of meddling in the election.
Oh my
Again,
gosh.
but they
didn't
why are we talking about this?
What
This
is
is not
new?
the issue. You're trying to avoid the subject.
President Obama said that Russia did not manipulate any votes. We should note that because every liberal in America said that was the case.
Okay,
All right,
for 3
noted.
years. You were doing
Noted.
everything you're
Now
possible
what?
not to talk about the fact that the President of the United States, the current President of the United States, just accused a former president of treason and suggested a prosecution of that former president with no evidence. That is the problem.
You can calm
That's
down.
the problem.
I don't think
no, I'm
he's
not
guilty
going to
of
calm
treason.
down. Well,
I don't think he'll
well,
be
why don't you talk
prosecuted.
about that instead of
I
talking
don't
about
think-
Obama?
Because Obama just undid 3 years of Democrat mythology.
See,
What?
Please let's not talk about this. I don't want to talk about your distractions. The problem is, this is what Trump does. He distracts everybody.
Oh my gosh. This guy just had a complete meltdown over his savior, Obama. Did you talk about Obama? Hold on. Don't we talk about my daddy? Hold on. Like, I mean, look at that. The same CNN that pushed the Russia hoax 24/7 is now pretending they never said votes were, I don't want to say it. They said it. Or played with. Then suddenly they want nuance. Suddenly they remember that no votes were changed because now it's Obama in the crosshairs. And when that happens, the rules change. But the biggest mental gymnastics came from The View. Now, I saved the worst, the absolute worst for last.
A sitting president just accused a former president of treason. Now, do people realize how serious an allegation this is? And for me, didn't the Supreme Court, under the guidance of this president,
Listen to the desperation in her voice.
say that presidents have immunity? So that would mean that nothing Obama did, because you didn't say no, that only you have immunity. You said presidents.
Yeah, but no one's above the law, right?
So this means you have no right to try to take him to court because he did what he did as president. So how does that work? Is it only you who is clear, or are they all clear? In which case, President Biden might be, kicking some new stuff up to you too. Because if you say nobody...
Biden? Oh, you mean his computer?
If you say nobody has immunity, or everybody, you have to decide which way you're going to go. A sitting president...
Oh, man. That's right. Now that Obama's exposed, Whoopi wants immunity for presidents after 8 years of screaming, no one is above the law. But ask yourself, same thing. If Trump was impeached for a phone call and prosecuted for paperwork, what do you call a president who weaponized the FBI, lied to the public, and tried to destroy the elected administration? The duly. Huh? Because if this isn't treason, then the word has no meaning. This is the moment. No more political theater. No more media spin. They named Trump now. Tulsi just named Obama. And this time, guess what, y'all? The documents are real. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace. Oh, I hit the wrong button.